Good morning, everybody. CJ goes live. It is a very early live. It is the life of a landlord. I hope everyone's having a great morning. The sun is still not up, but that is just fine with me. I don't mind. It's raining, which I hate because it's hard to see. And it is a busy day on the road, it seems already. I don't know why Tuesday's been so busy, but it's been pretty busy so far. So I am out today so early. I had a tenant with a furnace issue. She was freezing. Absolutely freezing. Could barely handle it. Turning into a popsicle. Well, it's 60 degrees in Pittsburgh. And when I went into her apartment, it is currently 83 degrees in her apartment. So I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning to come out to help a freezing tenant with children, and her apartment is 83. Some of this stuff, sometimes tenants, they just, sometimes they just need a little bit of cuddling. They need CJ to come hold their hand a little bit and be their friend and tell them it's going to be okay. I know it's only 83 degrees in your apartment, but you're going to be all right, I think. So as I'm driving, I'm thinking about today's election and what's going to be happening. I have a lot of thoughts about the election, but my last video with Mayor Bill Peduto didn't go over so well. Pittsburgh is a very liberal town, and it's a great place to live. It's just, it's not a place really for conservatives, as far as I'm concerned. But today's election day. Who are you voting for? We have parent-teacher conference all day yesterday, all day today. Then I started having problems with my truck. Yesterday, oxygen sensor. So I couldn't get to everything that I really wanted to get to. Plus I have kids to take care of. Plus other jobs, out of town, out of Pittsburgh, that I need to get to. So voting is going to be difficult today. It's going to happen probably in the evening. When I went for my big daughter's conference yesterday with her teacher, her teacher's husband is also a teacher. And I said, how are you going to vote? Because you have to be here at school. I said, till when? She said, till 7. I said, how do you vote then? Hopefully the polls close at 8. It's unfortunate that, teachers do so much for our community. Teachers do so much for good teachers. Where my kids go to school, great teachers. It's like a family at that school. One of the biggest reasons why we stay where we stay, because we love our neighborhood, we love people in our neighborhood, we love our school system, we love our police force, our mailman, our garbage men. We live in a great location in Pittsburgh, and it's all liberal. I think the whole street is blue. Come wingers on our block on the Brightwood. And there's a couple of closet ones too that I know of. But the consequences today of one beating the other, if the liberals take some seats back, then I see them reversing a few things that Trump did. None of them voted for the tax cuts. the tax cuts are actually really helping our country right now. But if the Republicans maintain, then I think we're going to see President Trump accomplish some more things like this wall. I know it's 2 years in, we still don't have a wall that was promised. But, Rome wasn't built in a day. President Trump has done pretty much everything he said he's going to do. I don't think that President Trump is any kind of racist, or I don't know where people get that stuff from. I have no idea, or sexist, or that's just wild stuff to me. I don't get it because I don't see any evidence of it.
Could be impacting voters today. The Mid-Atlantic region, so parts of Virginia, Delaware, Maryland.
Yeah, Florida is up for grabs. Ohio is up for grabs. Pennsylvania, we have Connor Lamb and Tom Wolf, and none of these guys really benefit anybody. They don't really do anything. They don't really accomplish anything as far as I'm concerned. Ooh, Amazon.
This week, the Wall Street Journal says Amazon will select 2 locations and will split the headquarters.
Right.
Each will have a workforce of about 25,000 employees.
Wow.
The Journal says Amazon is in advanced talks with multiple cities, including Crystal City, Virginia, Dallas, and Long Island City, New York.
Yeah.
Movie theater chain AMC says its subscription plan, A-List, is a success.
Where's Pittsburgh in that list? We already have the Google Center, the Bakery Square, the Google Center, which is pretty awesome in Pittsburgh. But I don't see Google. I don't see Amazon coming here. They had a bunch of places picked. They had Dallas, they had Atlanta, San Francisco, Pittsburgh, Chicago, New York City, all the typical places. I was really hoping they'd come to Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh's really become a great hub for medical technology. Everybody knows about sports, but Pittsburgh has become a great place for education. We have a bunch of universities, tourism. It's pretty cheap to live here. Hopefully our interest rates stay low. That would be good. But I'm excited about today and the outcome that I think we're going to have with the election. I guess it doesn't really matter because I'm going to be working all day. It's 6 o'clock now. I was up at 5 taking care of this freezing tenant. So I figured now that I'm up, I just go to Home Depot and get some materials for another house. It's 6, so hit the Pro Desk and get my stuff, Get some more materials actually that I ordered for another property in South Hills that we'll be back to work on tomorrow. But I'll be coming live tomorrow from Newcastle to, I think I did a video about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago on this property. I'm going to do a live video on what it looks like now after we painted it, carpeted it. Very inexpensive way to rehab property, but still make it look nice and livable and give your tenant a wonderful experience. And hopefully they give you a wonderful experience back by paying you the rent. So that's a question actually I got recently. What is this traffic at 6 in the morning here? What the heck? When do you know, or when are you supposed to fix something for a tenant? So you're always supposed to fix stuff for tenants. If they break it, it's questionable. But if you have something wrong, like a furnace, like today, I found out last night, you usually have 48 hours to fix it. I like to fix them right away if I can. And I like to solve the problem. That way the tenant is always happy. But there are some situations where you shouldn't be fixing things. For instance, tenant doesn't pay rent and they call you up and they tell you, hey, my satellite dish fell off the roof. Come and replace it. Well, you're not going to do that, obviously, right? I mean, that's a satellite dish and they haven't paid the rent. So there are extenuating circumstances where you don't actually go and fix stuff. Now, if they have a blocked up toilet, should you go fix it? I mean, you can. I do. Here's why. Because if they don't want to pay the rent and they don't care, what do you think is going to happen with that toilet? It's going to keep overflowing, and it's going to destroy the floor, and then it's going to leak into the basement or wherever. And then once the tenant leaves, I have the responsibility of fixing it. So sometimes we don't, as landlords, we don't want to fix stuff just because they haven't paid the rent or out of spite or whatever, because they're not nice tenants. But the reality is, once they're gone, you will, as a landlord, re-inherit the problem. So if there's a leak in the roof and they haven't paid the rent, go fix the leak in the roof, because if you don't, you're going to have a vacant property with no rent, a leaking roof, and now drywall that's destroyed inside your apartment. So sometimes it's just better to be preemptive with stuff, and even though you actually don't want to do it, you should just do it anyway. That's how I am, and that's how I've been for over 20 years in the business, and I think that's probably why it works. I'm responsive to people. I'm easy to get a hold of. I'm easy to talk to, and I'd suggest, as being a landlord, you ought to do the same. If you're going to be in this business, then you got to have, number one, the stomach for it, because you're going to see and hear all kinds of things that you never thought you'd ever see or hear. I've seen, probably the worst thing I've seen is a house we went into, this is maybe 10 years ago, in New Kensington, just outside of Pittsburgh. And the guys in the house had a dog fighting ring. So when the dogs would lose, they'd take a chainsaw and cut the dog in half up the middle. So we walked into this house and there was like 7 corpses in the basement of dogs, pit bulls, that had been cut in half, and little pit bull puppies eating the guts. I guess these guys left. They took off to Baltimore to start another dog fight ring, and they left these pit bull puppies down there, or dogs, the pit bulls, and then there was 2 puppies down there that I guess had been born, and the mothers died, and they had no food, so they were eating the flesh, the guts of one of the dogs. Guess what? We had to clean that up. So, I mean, obviously we didn't know that people had a dog, that people had a dog fighting ring. We knew they had dogs, but once they left, ultimately, the landlord is responsible for it. So I urge you, check your properties too. If you can, or if you can't, have a representative once a year. Do a survey on your property or do a report. I do reports with my service, the Inspection Wizard. They're a couple $100. I go in, I reassess everything from a year before or 10 years, or if you've never done it for the first time. I take pictures. I go through every room. I check all the plugs. I check all the lights. I do the furnace. I do the hot water tank. I do the electric panel. I do street views. I do tons of pictures. I do the roof. I do everything for a full inspection, visual inspection, without actually tinkering and getting into stuff completely if there's a problem. I suggest every investor have one of these done every single year. That way you know exactly what's going on. I've been into some properties outside of Pittsburgh that investors have had. They call me and they say, it's not working out, my property manager, or I don't have a property manager, or I just got a code violation, or I'm selling the property and it's gonna fail. Can you tell me what I need? I go out to a lot of these properties, and investors haven't ever seen the property. They were just told something, or they haven't seen it in ages. So what they do remember seeing is no longer applicable to 2018, because they've had a tenant in there for 5 years with 5 kids. So they're usually completely shocked when they find out that their house is trashed. I go in before any of that can happen, and I make the assessments. So that way, if an investor wants to re-rent, they know what they're looking at. if they're going to get hit with code, they know what code is going to be looking for because I do the code inspection as well. I've worked with code for so many years. I know exactly what they look for, and I know what they're too dumb to look for or too careless to look for. So I point those things out before they become an issue, because this is the way I look at it. For instance, if you're doing an FHA or a VA loan and the inspector comes in and he even sees a piece of broken siding, he's going to dock you a couple $1,000s. And what's going to happen is you have the house listed for $199.9. The inspector comes in and he sees your electric panel and he goes, something fishy about that. So he starts chasing the wire. And he's like, yeah, that's kind of suspect too. Let me check the weather. Let me go to the weatherhead. He checks. He comes back. In his report, he says, replace the whole panel, replace the line to the weatherhead. Thousands of dollars. My service, I come in and I tell you there's a problem with the box. Fix the box and fix it now. That way there won't be a problem with the line in the weatherhead. He won't even look at something like that. Another example, a lot of times, and it's happened to me several times, you have the house for $199, the inspector comes in, he starts finding things, FHA or VA. He starts finding things with the property that he doesn't like, for instance, or peeling paint, for instance. So the appraiser comes in and appraises it, and the appraiser comes back at $175. And you're like, okay, my price is $200. Well, sorry guys, but those FHA VAs, the VAs, they're 6 months, those appraisals. So it doesn't matter if you get another appraisal in a month or 2 months or 3 months, your value is going to be $175. You want to be preemptive with problems or issues that may arise. And a lot of times investors are not privy because their contractors don't tell them, or their contractors didn't do the work, or don't know, don't understand. So I understand the business of the inspection because I do it, and I do it for my own properties, do it for other people, and I've been doing it for over 20 years. I strongly suggest if you're a new investor, even if you're seasoned, have a service where someone goes in and checks on your property for you, or you at least go and check on your own property. Don't be lazy, and don't always rely on somebody, especially somebody you don't know. Somebody with a reputation, yeah. I don't really work with any clients in Pittsburgh. All of my clients are out of state because I came from out of state. So I strongly suggest that if you're going to work with somebody who's going to be taking care of your properties, that you invest a little time into finding out, first of all, who they are and what their intentions are. Maybe call some references. But even if you're just going for a simple inspection, I would highly suggest that every property once a year that you own, you do an inspection so you can avoid code inspections, which are mandatory every year, some places every 2 years. Newcastle every 2 years, Pittsburgh every year, New Kent every year. I suggest that you get my service. Let me come out there. Let me do a nice inspection for you. Pictures, videos. I do the videos, the YouTube videos and all that stuff. You get a bunch of pictures. You get a full report. And then you can also get an assessment of what needs to be done and what it's going to cost. So that's something a lot of people don't do. That's I don't know anybody who does that or who has that service that will provide a combo that will tell you what's wrong and then tell you how to fix it and what it's going to cost and a timeline of when it can be fixed. So I know this video is supposed to be about election day. It ended up being about the inspection wizard, but I'm real happy with my service. I'm having a lot of fun doing it. It is a newer service. I've always kind of done it, but I never had a company. Everything just kind of went under Steel City Houses, which others. So this is a new service, but it is a Steel City Houses service, and it is called the Inspection Wizard. And I've been working on the website, steelcityhouses.com, just between everything else in life, with the hot sauce, with Fire and Nice, and with properties, flips, and blah, blah, blah. Sometimes it gets a little bit bogged down. I'm going through the tunnel, so I don't know if this live is going to mess up, but I'll be through in a minute. Tunnel feels longer than it felt before. You know why? Because I'm going slow. We're going 30. Why are people going 30 in the tunnel? I don't get it. Why are people going 30 on the highway at all? You know, the speed limit's like 65. I don't get it. And here we go. Wait, no, we're not. No, I thought, okay. Wrong tunnel. It's early, man. I'm a little bit confused. Almost crossed the double line. And it's still raining here in the Berg. But it's not raining inside of Home Depot. So, anywho, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Somebody told me the other day I was distracted driving. I don't know how I'm distracted driving. The camera, I'm not holding it, so it's just kind of there. You know what I mean? But thanks for watching. You know, I do like to give my tips and stuff like that on real estate. So, if anybody's got a question, comment, or just email me or text me or call me. You know, I'm easy to get a hold of. I'm real easy to find. I'm everywhere. CJ Van, the man. Enjoy your day. Happy voting. Whoever you vote for, you know, I'm not hating on anyone. I hope that whoever you choose is your best choice and is good for our country. That's really what it comes down to. So have a blessed day. Like and subscribe. Comment. And I'll be in Newcastle tomorrow doing a reveal on our cheek flip. Enjoy your day. God bless.